audio a little bit differently for this stream, so hopefully everything works fine. But we are live now. Hello, everyone. We are beginning now. It is time. I did my pre-show puff before we went up. Now I realize I denied the audience. Such a privilege. All right. What day is it? Sunday? Sure.
Pre-show anything?
What you got, Nabashin?
I was just asking,
I mean, I asked you guys what you had for lunch, and then the only person that ate today was Scott, and then Tony ate 30 minutes ago, so. Did you eat today, Nabashin?
No.
God damn it. I didn't eat today either. I can't be angry at you. I can't stay mad at you.
Was purely on fucking Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah.
Just like thoughts of them together in a bed.
You know what? Real quick, what Nabashin, I don't think you ever shared your thoughts about the Sonic movie on the podcast. And people are talking about it again, so.
Why?
I was just curious how you felt about it.
Why are people talking about it?
I guess
I'm not judging you, I'm sorry.
a few people I know all watched it at the same time. Barrett and Alyssa watched it. I don't know. I think a couple of my friends on Instagram that have nothing to do with video games also watched it. Maybe it went up on like digital services recently. I don't know. Did you like it? I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, it's a watchable movie. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's something if I watched it when I was 13 years old, I would say like this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, type of thing.
Nice.
It's a good serviceable movie. One of the better video game movies. I remember it's a recommended watch for sure.
Okay. I do I actively want to see it. I didn't know. I don't know. This is a spoiler, but I didn't know there were like there's like some Echidna tribe in it. I didn't expect to see Echidnas or the other character that shows up in it at all. But that other character is like my favorite, so I was stoked. I'm pretty sure like the week before it came out, I said to you like, do you think will Knuckles and Tails show up in this? I think you had said no, but I'd like hoped that they would be a post-credits singer. Got my vindication. But yeah, I'll watch it.
I don't remember that conversation.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just my feelings. It's fine. No, it was about the Sonic movie. Let's be real.
I mean, like the only thing I remember about the Sonic movie, like before watching it, is just just like obviously the memes and like I mean, because it came out around my birthday, so like that's the only thing I remember. It's the last movie I saw in a theater.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what was it.
So it's already like in a legendary space because like I don't know if I'll ever be in the theater ever again.
I think the last.
And I really want to watch Tenet, but like I'm not doing it with people around me. So
no, I think it got delayed.
Oh, I know. It's delayed
indefinitely. Nolan's like, whenever a summer is free again, throw down my flagpole. I appreciate him. Like, really, he really believed that one was gonna come out. He was like, no, this is gonna happen. But yeah, I was just curious about that. I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Frozen 2 for the 5th time. So.
Was it really?
Yeah, I saw that beginning of February, and I can't think of anything. Although to be fair, I went to PAX in February.
Didn't you see it in theaters when it was on streaming services at that time? Was that a thing?
No.
Okay.
No. As soon as the nice thing was there was like a week of downtime between when it came out of theaters and then when.
I think you went to see it when it was about to go out of theaters.
Yeah, exactly. I saw it I got one last one in there. Time number 5 or whatever. I think it was 5 or 6. I think it was 5.
I should rewatch that. I haven't seen it since.
It's good. It's a great movie.
I really liked it.
Yeah, super fun. I think too the second viewing you notice all like the little things about it that are really cool. All right.
What was your last movie, Tony and / Scott?
Yeah. Have you guys seen a movie in 2020?
No. Well, like not in theaters.
Yeah.
But
Are we live?
Just this Saturday. I went to Friday. I went to Chicatique without pretty much anything. I brought the Switch, but I forgot that my actual charger was broken. So I was just left with my phone and the TV, and they were running a Rambo marathon.
Oh, nice.
1, 2, and 3, and I was like, I guess that's what I'm doing with this weekend.
He came back as Rambo.
This guy has a full beard, the long mullet hair, bandana on. God, that would be great. Tony, what was the last movie you saw?
In a theater?
Yeah,
I don't fucking know.
something.
Why would I go
Man
to
of Steel.
No, it's probably like Doctor Strange.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
Wait, no, I've definitely been to one between then and now. I went with someone. I think it was Scott. Did we go see some sort of movie at some point?
You guys see like Endgame or something?
Like
no,
a
we
My
wouldn't have
Academia
gone to
movie.
see that.
I don't know. There's so many movies that go out in theaters. I couldn't even go like, what movies have come out in theaters over the past like year and figure it out. I have no idea. Literally no clue. And I think that probably speaks for itself that I don't remember.
Yeah. I feel like we're all not like super huge movie people. And
I don't watch TV.
That's not
I don't-
true.
I'm becoming one. I think you are not as well, Nabishan. I remember you didn't used to like that movies that much.
Yeah, and then like Movie Pass was a thing, and then quickly became
Your
not a
friend
thing.
Tony was making you watch movies with him.
Yeah, and then In Review was a thing, and then that's not much of a thing that much for me anymore, unfortunately.
Me either.
You know, like I should be watching those Miyazaki movies, but I'm not.
Yeah, I want to. I've never really
yeah,
seen
I just don't have the time.
any of them. Yeah.
And the time I do have, I wanted to spend this where I'm happiest, I guess you would say, because like work's been like really killing me.
Totally get it. That's me like when work is on, like when I'm at work. So I should be taking this time to like do a bunch of other stuff I don't normally do.
There's been times I've been tempted to be like, hey Tony, like how do you how can I just transfer my job to your job, and like we just do this like fucking exchange or something, because like
Swap places.
yeah, because it's like it's just getting too much right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, then you deprive Tony of being able to be with you still. You fucking monster. Tony, I would never do that to you. I would just not hang out with you for 3 years.
What else is new?
Exactly. Burn the bridge your own way. No, I just wouldn't leave my house for
I
3
don't
years.
know if it would improve anything for you, by the way. No, I shouldn't, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, the only improvement now is like you actually have product, because we don't have any, and we just keep. I have to keep telling people like, oh, it's coming tomorrow, and it's not coming.
Never coming.
Because like this is my
Ugh.
boss told me. My boss told me, oh, it's coming tomorrow. So like, oh, I'll tell him it's coming tomorrow, and then it doesn't come in. Then he call me, then he yell at me, and it's like,
Ugh,
that's what I deal with constantly.
I get that so much. There's a similar part of my job that is very much like that. But hey, how about we escape from work and talk about video games? That seems like a good time.
About it.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna up some audio real quick. There we go. All right, now let's get cracking. Let's get into this podcast. It is Sunday, July 26, 2020, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, your host this evening, and joining me, as always, for this very long podcast adventure we're about to embark on, Scott Guth here.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
Hey.
And Brian Nabishan Jackson.
Samurai.
Now I know exactly what to yell when I get hit by a car, and I feel it in my bones. I'm gonna
Very high on what is it? Coke? No, meth. Or
meth.
was it
Yeah, it was
PCP?
yeah,
PCP.
It was PCP. Of course. How could we forget?
How could we forget?
At this point in 2020, a comedy button reference I feel like is a deep pull now. Has become. I think that means we're old now. Anyway, hello, welcome to Irrational Passions podcast, where we talk about video games. Sometimes we're in QuarantineCast. I've been marking the weeks on our YouTube channel. We're in week 15 of QuarantineCast. But if you think about it, since we've all recorded separately on this show forever, we've always been in QuarantineCast. That's 475 weeks of quarantine. But welcome. It's a video game show. We talk about video games typically Saturday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, live over on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. But tonight is Sunday. But we're still live. We're still hanging out. We're still about to talk about games. Real quick, before we talk about it, I just want to give a couple of shout-outs to irrationalpassions.com. It's a video game website that this is on as well. Some stuff happened there. Specifically, we recorded a Viewpoints, which is, if you've ever heard of a Giant Bomb Quick Look, it's very, very reminiscent of such a thing. where we sit down and kind of explore a game that we think maybe folks need to see in action, or we just want to talk about and show off. I sat down with Mike and we talked about Crosscode, which I've talked about a lot on this podcast. The game's really good, and again, I think a few people on this show. I don't know. I don't want to say all of you guys, but I think a couple of you guys would really dig it. So if you wanted to see it, or if anyone out there wanted to kind of see actually what it looks like to be played, and I made sure I showed off some of the puzzles and some of the combat. That's going to be up on Monday, so you'll be able to watch that on YouTube. Also, review of East Memories of I think it's Celceta. It might be Calceta on PS4. Scott White reviewed that. It's a port of the PS Vita version of that game. I actually played it at PAX. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun, but we also I'm gonna pull this up so I don't want to get it wrong. We have a panel coming up, an online panel, because Lord knows there's no actual real events anymore. But we have an online panel at Gen Con, which I know Tony knows what Gen Con because I found out what Gen Con is probably from the same source, which is Critical Role. So Scott White is going to be DMing a tabletop RPG panel at Gen Con next Friday at 8 p.m. I think so. We're going to be hosting it on our Twitch channel. Gen Con also has a page where you can see it. I don't know necessarily what you can like interact with it to some way, I believe, but I'm not necessarily sure how that works. But Scott has a Google document on Twitter up, just at Irrational Pod on Twitter, about it, and I'm really excited because the panel that Scott put together, and he put all this together himself, is killer. We got Jarrett Green, our very own Jarrett Green, Cameron Hawkins from Dual Shockers, friend of the show, Jessica Lynn Verdi from Home Buddies, who's also a friend of the show, Janelle Santa Cruz Campbell, also from Home Buddies, and Ian Hink from the Easy Allies, which is really cool. And I know like we were trying to get Ian on, but I didn't know he had said yes, so I'm very excited about it. It's very cool. I was going to be there originally, but some unfortunate circumstance came up. But regardless, you should go watch it and check it out and support it because it's awesome. So look forward to that next Friday. I'm really excited about that. I think that's really cool. And we've talked about doing tabletop stuff for a while, so this will hopefully be the avenue for Tony and my Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Look forward to it. So that's it for housekeeping. I know it's a little bit long, but I just want to make sure I did not mess anything up with the panel. And Scott White's watching the chat, so he'll let me know if I fucked anything up. But let's talk about video games. Tony, you hype me up, man. I really want you to go first. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. What you been playing?
I played some video games.
What you got?
Mostly, I played Path of Exile. Let's be real.
Okay.
Yeah, this week was very interesting for Path of Exile because I went from being like pretty well off at Path of Exile to now I am basically a Path of Exile millionaire. Like no joke, like it's that crazy.
Okay.
Like to quickly put it in a concept, like the entire league's worth of work that I put into all of my previous leagues that I've ever played Path of Exile has probably been about like a sum total of like 40 exalts by the time I was done. For like all the gear and all the shit that I collected was worth about that much total. Currently, I am worth about 1,000 exalts.
Oof.
And can basically buy anything in the game. Technically I can like 6 times over.
Could you buy that belt that you got?
Yeah, that's only 60 exalts.
Damn, dude.
The most expensive item in the game, a Mirror of Kalandra. That's not really the most expensive, but it's the most expensive piece of currency. Is an item that you can use to make a copy of almost any, piece of gear.
Yeah.
So you can basically say like, this gear that you've crafted that is perfect, give me that, But they don't have to give it to you. They use the mirror on that item, and they can just give you the copy of the item. So it duplicates shit.
That's really cool.
Right? Sounds like cheat codes, and you can buy that. That's like 180 exalts. So I could buy more than 5 of those.
Wow.
Yeah. So like all 5 main pieces of gear, I could just take the best possible ones and get them. what I've already got, and that's just in liquid currency. Everything, my entire build is basically perfect, completely decked out, completely pimped out. Everything is done. All my stuff that I have on me is probably worth about half of that in addition. So yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
I basically what I did, I sold crafts through the garden up until I got to a certain point, and then I just gambled like over and over again. There's a certain way that you can do it with the garden, where you can put up basically an expensive item, expensive card, and you can put in up to 4 of them, and there's a chance to get 0 or any number between 0 and double what you put in. So I just got really lucky, and I turned one of those cards into 22. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So basically, I could do whatever the hell I want in Path of Exile from now until the end of the league, very easily, and it's been a good time.
Have you ever
downed?
You can finish. Sorry.
I downed all content, killed all bosses, all that stuff. I did that without needing to use all that money and stuff, but with all the gear that I had previously that I had crafted. But yeah, now I've done all the content is down, and I have all of this money. So basically, I've just been giving it away, which is, because once the league ends, who cares, right? So I just if someone tries to trade with me or comes to buy something, and I can tell that they're a newer player or whatever, I'll just be here you go, take 20 exalts or something, go have fun. Some guy I was trading with told me that he was telling me that he'd been scammed by the guy that he was trading with earlier that day, the collateral scam. So someone wants you to do a craft on their expensive item, so that you give them an expensive item, they give you their item, and then you do the craft and you guys trade back. So that way, if you steal their item, it's not a big deal because they've got the money for it.
Yeah.
But then there are people who will trade you an item for your money and then take off.
Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, someone was telling me that they got collateral scammed for 7 exalts, and they were coming to me for a cheap craft or whatever. So I was already just gonna pay him, whatever. But yeah, so he was telling me about that. I was like, man, that fucking sucks. He's like, yeah, it's my first league. I guess it's just the price of learning.
Oh.
Shit. So I just gave him 15 exalts. And he was like, dude, this is too much. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. Just go have fun.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in my opinion, right? The league ends in a month. What am I gonna do with 1,000 exalts?
Yeah, you won. You did it.
I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
it's just gonna go to standard where all items go to die.
Yeah, you were saying wasn't it, I think last week you were saying how you would Sherpa people. I don't know if that was this game or something else.
That was Code Vein.
Oh yeah, it was Code Vein. My mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's just in your nature to if you see a newer player struggling to help them.
Yeah, and there's one of my friends started playing Path this league, and he's kind of building the same kind of build as I am, but it's a little bit different. So I spent 2 hours earlier today just crafting from scratch the perfect chess piece, 6 tier 1 rolls. Jeez. With exactly what he needs, and I just gave it to him.
Aww.
I just did it because I was bored. I was like, I'm just gonna craft this. Here you go.
No, that's fun though. I feel like I was gonna ask, have you ever done all of it in a league before with Path of Exile, or is this the first time?
So I haven't played in a couple leagues, and I didn't this is my first time downing the maximum difficulty of the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
New final boss, because back when I was really playing a lot of the leagues, that was right before they added all the changes to the Atlas and added Cirrus and the Conquerors and all that. So I hadn't fought high difficulty Cirrus until this league, because I've only played one league with those changes before, and I only got I didn't get as far into the league. So yeah, I downed the final boss on the hardest difficulty, Deathless, which is a pretty huge achievement in Path of Exile to do that. And then after that, I just went through and finished all the other bosses, because nothing is as hard as that.
Yeah, that's
cool. It was pretty cool. It was basically and I did that. I bought a mirror, which is that currency that I was talking about. That was my league goal, was to make enough currency to buy one mirror.
Yeah.
So I did that. I completed that. And so now I'm just kind of hanging out, I posted in the Discord of my old BDO guild, who I always play Path of Exile with people from that guild. Because a lot of people had started this league and then were like, we don't want to deal with the garden. We'll play next league. So I posted and I was like, hey, listen, if you want to play, I will fund any build. Whatever
Yeah.
you need, I'll just buy it for you. If you want to test stuff, now's the time. I don't think we're ever going to be this rich in another league.
Yeah.
Collectively. So,
Does
a couple people came back and I gave them money to build builds and stuff.
does this get you more or less excited for like the next league and the reset?
It's really, that's kind of like the whole sentiment of like the community of Path of Exile right now, because there are a bunch of people who didn't play the league or didn't really like the league mechanic, and they already aren't really part of the conversation right now. Or some of the more vocal ones are, but everyone's wondering, like, is this mechanic that has completely changed crafting and made it so totally different, and like it makes crafting accessible to everybody in a way that is not so RNG dependent and so currency dependent that only the top like 0.1% have access to good items, and it lets people take builds and finish them, or not finish, but you like put more power into them than you normally be able to because of how difficult it is to get good items. For example, like I can just, if I need a certain thing on a certain item, I can just go do that, and I can change stuff around kind of at my will to make the build work the way that I want it to. Where in other leagues, you'd have to go through and buy like 3 or 4 new items to move stats around and try and get the right stuff. So that kind of accessibility and ease of use of getting and making items and changing them around to work, especially like even as simple as just your resistances. People are wondering, like, if we go back to the path before this, one, at least for me, every build that I played this league, I'm not going to be able to play that build again, because I'm never going to get back to the same level of power.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think, like, I would like for this system to go core, but I think that it would need some very specific balancing to make it viable as a mechanic that isn't just go into every map and do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think that they've got. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's tough for them. That's going to be hard for them to figure out too. So I'm curious to see what solution they arrive at.
Yeah, but it's cool that they're still introducing stuff that so fundamentally changes things that it becomes so fun.
The league that does that the most that I know of anyway.
Because there's like still Path of Exile 2. I don't know if it's called that. Another Path of Exile at some point coming that this is gonna like transition into, right? So these could be fundamental parts of that next thing. So
I definitely think crafting could use being a bit more accessible, and I think that Harvest, while it may have made it a bit too accessible, that's fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun. It sounds really cool.
I think the point of the game is to get good loot and upgrade loot. It's a loot game. It really is. So, items are not supposed to drop powerful. They're supposed to be made powerful through crafting. That is the actual like design decision of the company that makes the game. That's their goal. Their vision is for items to drop, like, they could be okay, but you're supposed to craft the items to make them good. And this league made it so you could do that pretty deterministically, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's cool. It's been cool also, like, seeing you start with that really lucky drop in the early game, but not just kind of quitting because you were on top from there and keep going with it. So
yeah, if they made some changes in the first couple days, first week or two, that really made because the garden seeds didn't used to like spawn nearly as many, and the more rare crafts they made extremely rare. So they made a lot of that stuff more common and made the seeds drop in larger quantities, which really made the garden kind of take off. And it's been a lot of fun. I really have been enjoying my time, doing that. And I ran a shop. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but I think last week, no, this was right before I really started doing that.
Yeah.
I bought in bulk like thousands of seeds from people who are selling in bulk, and I was running maps, saving the crafts, and then I basically built a shop, a storefront, and posted that on a couple of the PoE discords, so that I could sell the crafts to other people. And that's how I funded eventually buying that card that I gambled with, and a bunch of other stuff. And, you'd sell crafts, buy more bulk seeds, keep running maps, selling stuff. It's a lot of fun. The thing that led me to it was when we were talking last week about I was looking for a game like that.
Yeah.
To like run a shop. So basically, I'm just going to do it in PoE.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it was cool.
That's cool. All right, Tony, what else you been playing?
A little bit of League of Legends.
Okay.
Nexus Blitz came back. they made the mode even worse, which I didn't think that there was possible to make that mode worse. It's worse.
Which mode is that? Is that the one where you like to capture the point?
It's like a bunch of different mini objectives, and they retuned the games to last like 10 to 15 minutes or whatever instead of 30 to 40.
I hear
So
Scott
like
sitting up
20
in
to
his
30
chair.
minutes.
Yeah, I feel like some heat is coming.
Nah, the mode sucks. It's really bad.
No, it's not good.
Okay.
It's fun a couple of times, but it's that there were some glaring issues the first time around, and they didn't make it better.
Got it.
So I played it once, and I was like, nope, they didn't. They did no kind of fixing.
Yeah.
The only reason to play that mode is to buy items that they removed from the game and use them. That's it.
Got it.
Which is what I did. I picked out Mundo. I built Forced Nature, and I was happy.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah. So, but that's like what the people who I was playing League with wanted to play. They're like, come play Nexus Blitz, and I was like, I really don't want to come play
I'm
Nexus
good
Blitz.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, I have that, and then it's weird that people are asking me to coach them now.
In the League of Legends, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you hit diamond, platinum, whatever you're on.
Diamond.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fucking weird. People are like, "Hey, I'm picking up this champion that I know you play. Can you please teach me how to play League?" I was like, "Bro, you just kill people out of it."
Dude, bro, you're 80 carry, you shoot him. I guess I don't know. Like, what do you want?
I think you auto attack. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, but like just this is recently yesterday. Someone was like, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to pick up Aurelian Soul, and I need you."
And you're like, it's a lost cause, dude. Walk away.
Yeah, pretty much. I literally just like wrote a paragraph. I was like, I need you to understand that if you try and learn this champion, it's going to take you at least 100 games before you stop feeding.
Yeah.
So,
And after that, it's not worth it.
I'm just saying, Tony, if you get paid for League of Legends tutoring, you could turn what you hate so much into something that makes you money.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'm good enough for that. There are a lot of.
They don't need to know that. Your clients don't need to know that.
Like, Diamond 4 is where you can start saying that you're good at the game, but it's not like you're not like good at the game. You're just like decent at it.
Best of the worst, I believe. Or worst of the best.
Yes, exactly. Like, of the people that are good at League, I am the worst among them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was that, and then there's this one other game that I was introduced to from a live stream that I was watching.
Okay.
Well, one, I watched the entire rest of Sekiro. So I have now seen
Sekiro
the
or
entire-
Ghost of Tsushima?
Sorry, Ghost of Tsushima, same game basically.
Yeah, the same
Wow.
thing. Japan, I don't know.
Yeah, samurai. I don't know. Yeah, so I've seen that entire game start to finish.
Cool. I gotta get back to it. I haven't played it since last week, so.
Yeah, that game's pretty good.
Okay. I'm excited to play more.
Yeah, there are a lot of things I liked about that game.
That's a PS4 exclusive, right?
Until it comes to PC.
Until it comes to PC in 4 years,
Dude,
yeah.
Oh my god, dude, can you imagine that game modded? Let's go.
Oh yeah. Just I would mod
yeah.
it to play the guy from Sekiro.
Right. So the streamer that I was watching, when he finished it, you know, the day of that last stream, the finale stream, he was saying like, you know, I don't know exactly how much time there is left in this game. So if we finish early, I'm gonna go play this other game. So he finished the game, and then you know, came back from the break and was like, all right, we're gonna play this new game. And I don't know if you've heard of this before. I don't know if it's been around for a while.
Okay.
You could, you know, I could just tell you what this game is, and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. And,
Or I could say I've never heard of it in my life.
yeah, so the game it's called AI Dungeon.
I've never
You know
heard
what
of
that
it.
is? Awesome. Okay, so it's this really fucking insane game. Basically, the idea is it's D&D, where you are a player and the DM is AI,
Okay.
like a learning AI, and it's text based, so it's kind of like a MUD.
Okay.
So it's you can play it on your phone. You can play it. It's in you can play it in a browser. You could download it, and there's like a source code type thing that you can install in your Google Drive that will allow you to play it on like anywhere on any mobile device, regardless. But yeah, so basically what it is either single or multiplayer. I've never tried multiplayer, but you go in and you're like, I'm gonna start a new story. You pick a setting and a character class, and then it starts you out with a little sentence, and you say what you want to do. You play D&D.
That's cool. How deep can it go?
The AI is pretty fucking good.
Okay.
And I will give you an example during the break for you to peruse. But like, I watched him play this for, the last 3 hours of his stream or whatever. And you can literally do anything with this AI. Like you can play a regular fantasy game. You can go to a tavern or whatever. Go on a quest to save a princess, whatever you want, or you can become John Cena and wrestle in the WWF.
What?
And then you can then teleport to Brazil and join a cartel. Then you can literally do anything, and the AI will try and keep up with you.
That's awesome.
And it's pretty good at it too. So yeah, it's literally like watching that stream, and then it was one of the funniest 3 hours of my life watching that shit. I laughed so hard. And then I was like, I'm gonna play this, and then I lost 7 hours.
Nice.
I don't know what happened. I played for 7 hours straight until early in the morning, and I was like, holy shit, this is something special.
That's cool.
So, yeah, so then he played that on stream again the next day, and played for 8.5 hours, and I laughed the entire time.
Awesome.
Man, that game is crazy. It's so cool, and especially for someone who's into and listens to and knows about Dungeons and Dragons and how that potentially works. You being able to do that will make the AI respond to you and in a really well, and it's cool. There's a lot of I'm amazed that I hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah, me too.
So
that's really cool. Yeah, I'll check that out after this podcast. And
I will just as a quick example, the first game I played with the AI, I've started as a human wizard, and literally not more than 10 minutes into my story, which my story started with me in some ruins searching for a magical book, which I think is just the beginning of the scenario for any wizard, is you're looking for this book.
Of course.
10 minutes after the game started, I had somehow been attacked by a demon, body swapped into that demon, so I became that demon, and then needed to go on a quest to consume recently living or still living humans in order to increase my power. And if I ate the brains of specifically intelligent humans, I would increase my intelligence.
Perfect.
And the person who was telling me this was my pet Drake. After I had become this demon, was like, hey, by the way, this is how demons work. And I was like, well, shit, because after I had become this demon, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my old body. And the Drake seemed hungry, so I threw my old body to the Drake to eat. And then I realized that the Drake said that if I eat bodies, I gain their stuff. So I was like, I need my body back, so I killed and ate the Drake to gain my own powers.
So the cycle continues.
Dude, it's so insane.
That's cool.
And the AI will just take you there wherever you want to go. So it's pretty fucking cool.
Rad. I'll have to check it out. Is all you've been playing?
That's it.
Cool. Nabishin, man. Video games.
Not too outside the box.
Okay.
It's the same stuff, actually.
Okay. I hear you finished on the deep web. I hear you finished Shadow the Hedgehog, though.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I have. I forgot about that. Yes,
that's what I'm here for, bud. To remind you of your mistakes.
I finished Shadow the Hedgehog. And yeah, I was very much done when I finished that game.
Had you ever gotten that ending before, that last ending?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I've beaten all these games up to Sonic 06. I beat Sonic 06, and then after that, I just stopped beating Sonic games more or less.
Yeah, because Unleashed was after that.
Yeah, and I liked Unleashed. It's just the fact that those levels lasted forever when you were the werewolf. Yeah, it just lasted way too long, and I just couldn't take that anymore. So I never finished that game.
Yeah.
And then I never really got Generations, and then I haven't really beat a newer Sonic game till Sonic 4, I guess, if you even want to count that. And I didn't like that game.
Yeah.
But then Sonic 4 since I beat it. some other stuff, but like Soccer Mania, obviously. But like yeah, because like it was a time period, Alex, where if it has Sonic in the title, I would automatically buy it. There was a time period of that.
Even the BioWare GBA game or whatever.
I got that from GameFly and played like maybe like 20 minutes of it, and I sent it back because I didn't understand it. I just didn't like it as far as.
Isn't it absurd that Sonic the Hedgehog and then BioWare, who would go on to make Mass Effect, they came together and made a game for you, and you just couldn't. I'm not trying to make you feel like shit or anything. I feel like today, if that game came out, I think you would be really into it.
Yeah, maybe. Like I don't even remember playing it. I remember renting it, but I never. I didn't know what it really was, and I just wanted to check it out, and then like but I would totally try it out again. Like I have means to do it, but like I don't know.
I'd be curious on your take on it, just because I feel like that was a better generation of BioWare, maybe closer to what Mass Effect 1 and 2 were, and I wonder if like that writing or the cleverness of lore or whatever that they try and inject it into Sonic would have resonated with you.
Yeah, I don't know. But Shadow the Hedgehog is done. That's out of my life. I'll never probably play that again.
One book closes and another opens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like replaying Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog has been something else. Just the fact that like it was something I completed as a kid when I played those originally, and then like, I just remember them as being like, oh, those are Sonic games I played. Those are Sonic games I've beaten. So like, obviously, I must have liked them. They were probably okay at least. And then it's like, no, I just can't with them anymore. It's really interesting, just like replaying those games and just seeing them again. Because here's the thing, is like. After playing that and then like going straight into Sonic 06, which is the game I've been playing lately, like my mind has been like adjusted because like I knew that game was bad. I knew that game was bad when I played it back then. So when I'm playing it now, it doesn't feel as bad. If that makes sense.
Sure.
And it's like
you have the right expectation.
Yeah, and like it's almost refreshing playing Sonic 06
after coming of Shadow the Hedgehog coming off of that.
Yes, 100%. I'm not even joking. Like. I'm enjoying myself more, and like the fact that like I've been playing those Sonic games for so much, nothing feels like arbitrary or like bullshit to a certain extent, obviously. But like I understand how to play that game. Like it's in my head. I've been playing Sonic games for like the last few months now, so it's like when like he's doing a Mach speed run, like I only died maybe once, and then like I get to the end of the level, it's like, oh okay, I got through that. Like I got through like a whole bunch of crap to get to that point, but like I beat that, and it was relatively easy. Like I beat all of Sonic's story relatively easily, like because like I understand the minutia of, like how to play Sonic games now. So it's like
I want you to listen back to this episode and just hear yourself and just hear like these games. You walked in and you're like, I know you're bullshit. You don't scare me anymore.
It's funny. It's so funny, dude, because like I was playing it and like I beat all of Sonic stuff and like like I got through like some garbagey parts and like stuff that was like, oh, this is just like glitched out and broken or whatever. Yeah. But like after beating Sonic's part, I was like, man, am I really gonna rank this above Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog? Yeah. Like because like I can see it and like but it's something I can't like fucking say because like people will like crucify me. But
they also like those games like Sonic Heroes and Shadow. Like I think when you are playing these games the way that you are playing them, which is to say like I'm gonna get all the endings. I'm gonna like when you pick up and play and just have like one impression of a game. I feel like that is gonna be you're gonna have a different. It's like the completionist argument. Like Gerard is gonna have a different take on these games that a lot of people like because he plays them until he doesn't like them anymore. A lot of cases, right? Like, I think weirdly it's gone the other direction where you've played these games so much that now like you understand this language that only these games speak, and so when you have just like that baseline understanding, you have a better appreciation for games that are just not well made versus games that are maybe just broken in some ways.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I get it. Like I'm on this journey, and I want you to know because I did this whole thing with Remedy that we're gonna get into in a little bit. No, I'm sure, and I know you're gonna be there with me as well. So I totally, it's fucked up, but I do get it. I may never be on that same page with you, but I get it. You know,
because it's like if you want to disprove me, play all the fucking games and like tell me I'm wrong. That's the only way you're gonna do.
I'm wrong, you coward.
The only way you want to do it. So like, yeah, like other than like Gerard, like no one else can tell me anything otherwise as far as my opinion.
This
so
is
like
at the end of this, you have to have a one-on-one podcast with the completionist and to be like, all right, we got to talk about this. You're the only person that knows. So yeah, totally. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I just hope at the end of like, I'm hoping that after 06, like you'll probably get through fine, and then the next couple don't like break you. That's all I'm worried about.
I honestly don't know. Sonic Unleashed is I'm excited for because like I remember loving the Sonic Spires very much so. And then like the Werehog stuff was just fine. It was just like they
lasted too long.
I keep saying they last like there's levels are like 20 minutes, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, just
like,
hitting stuff.
Playing like Sonic Heroes and their levels last like 10 to 15 minutes. Like these are too long for a Sonic game. Sonic game should not last for like they should last like 3 minutes, maybe even 4. And you're supposed to have like these set pieces that make it look good or something like that, or have interesting level design. Like
that's a valid question. Now that you're playing through all of them, what game fucked that up? What was the first Sonic game that was like, no, we should have longer levels? It was Sonic Adventure, wasn't it?
Have longer levels?
Yeah. Because this is a trend, right?
Which one had longer levels?
Yeah, which one started that shit where it was like these levels are too long?
Oh, it was Sonic Heroes.
Really?
Sonic Heroes. Yes.
Because I feel like Adventure 2 had some really long levels.
There were long levels as far as like maybe like the tail stuff, but like you understood that because like, oh, this is the tail section, so like I'm not gonna expect anything from this. Yeah. Like there's a Dr. Eggman stage that lasts over 10 minutes, and like
I remember that stage. Is that the pyramid one?
It was the space one.
Oh, the space. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the space one lasted way too long.
Yeah.
But like
so I mean, you could say that they started playing.
Also, like,
they started...
There were sections so that you understood that like, oh, so this part's gonna be like the thing that lasts forever because like Knuckles can last for like maybe 30 seconds if you know where the emeralds are. Type
yeah.
Thing. And Sonic, if you got like the groove, you could beat that in like less than 2 minutes if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like it's just like the Tails and Dr. Eggman stuff that lasts like a good long time.
But like the Sonic Heroes levels, I feel like are a lot like those Tails Eggman levels. I feel like they're from my memory, you know, I don't know as well as you do, but from the way that they're laid out, and it's a lot more vertical platforming and stuff, like getting over obstacles and breaking stuff to get through areas. Like I feel like Sonic Heroes started taking after that. That's what it all
like
went
Sonic
downhill.
Heroes like I said, the most interesting thing about Sonic Heroes is like the fact that like you can switch the player to what you want for power, to fly, to like speed, and like that's an interesting mechanic. But like the game literally gets in the way of itself as far as like having like instant deaths like around you. Like you're always on a floating platform for whatever fucking reason, and then like you die, and then like you have to start all over again. And the way I was playing it, because like I had to play to the point I couldn't get hit. I had to get a key and not get hit through the entire level to keep that key so I could go to the special stage, so I could get the Chaos Emerald, and so I could eventually be Super Sonic and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like to do that was just a goddamn nightmare. So yeah.
I think that was the thing, because I remember, you know, I played a lot of Sonic Heroes. I liked that game back in the day, but I remember beating, I think, all the campaigns. Maybe that's what it was, and it's like, oh, you have to go back and get all the keys to get to the next thing. And I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And it's one of those things, like the finish talking about Sonic the Shadow the Hedgehog. Like I said, I if I play Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog once and like, you know, just got through the levels, it'll be fine. Like I would probably maybe even put it above one of the adventure games, because like it's a fine game, but like you're being egregious to tell me that I have to replay those levels up to 10 times to see like the Super Shadow ending, and like you don't even give me the decency of having a chapter select. So I have to start from the very beginning every single time just to see something different, and I have to do something slightly different just to see the different ending. That is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, that's Sonic. I think that's Sonic. How much of Sonic 06 do you have left?
I'm like halfway through Shadow, and like I have to go through the train wreck that is Silver. But yeah, I'm a breeze through Sonic 06. Like like I said, and it's at the point where I'm actually looking forward to it in a weird way when I stream those games, because like I know it's bad, and I can tell you it's bad.
But you know
like,
what you're doing.
Yeah, but there's a sense of enjoyment, and like it's glitchy as fuck, and like it's not like I'm 100%ing the game. I'm just going through the beats until like this is why it's a relief compared to like Shadow the Hedgehog. It's like because at least I'm seeing different stuff, and like I don't have to do it 10 times. I'm basically kind of doing it 3 times, but it's three times different ways, and they're not as bad. Like they're not as bad. Like when we play as Knuckles in that game, like it's the baddest controls you'll ever experience in the video game. But like it's not. It's like it's a moment. There are literally moments and then it's over type of thing.
Got it. Excellent. Have you played anything else outside of Sonic games this week?
More Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
Really liking that game a lot more. The more I play it, the more I like it.
It's good to hear. I'm excited to go back to it. I kind of want to finish Paper Mario first and then get into that. So
yeah, like I just played that game. Played the game, and I enjoy it for what it is. Like I keep saying this, but it's a very good video game as a video game. In all the right ways. Yeah, like. And there's like some better stuff as far as the story too, as far as like certain characters and stuff like that. Not so much for Jin, or at least so far. I still think he's still kind of like a wet blanket. Doesn't really like isn't charismatic as much as I would want. I would say as a character, very like you're basically like a brick wall type of thing. It's the same emotion and same expression everywhere you go. He's a good character, but like just you're not getting much of anything from it. But like there's certain like heavy stuff, especially with like a character in Misako, with the stuff that she's going through. That's like really cool. Not cool. That's a bad word for it, but really heavy, emotional stuff as far as like poignant. That's a good word. For like like they're in the middle of a war and like a lot of bad things happen and she's just like someone who's like the last of her clan, so like she's like really deep in like feeling the need for revenge and mourning. She's a very tragic character, but like I like her a lot because of that. And like there's like interesting side stories as well. There's like mystical stuff that's really interesting. Okay. And there's like there's certain side stories like, oh, I really want to see this character. You keep talking about Tomoe, but like I really want to see this character and who she is and like all this other stuff.
Yeah, I did the first part of that quest.
Yeah, so like like I really enjoyed that game a lot.
Cool. I'm really excited to play more of it. Especially hearing good things from you and Tony about it.
There hasn't really been much of anything else. A little bit went back to Mass Effect 2 a little bit.
Yeah.
Joe was in my stream. Said hi to Joe.
Hi, Joe. Wherever you are.
Yeah. He hasn't really seen like the modding PC stuff for Mass Effect, so I showed him a little bit of that, and like he was like blown away how good it looks. I'm like, yeah, this looks really fucking good, and like
the nude mods. Let's go.
I've been seeing like a lot of nude mods going around recently. I don't know what it is. The uptick. People are horny, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Quarantine.
When people are not horny.
Yeah, exactly. Quarantine is just extra horny times.
But there's nothing much else. Like I fired up some demos on Xbox One.
Yeah, any good Xbox demos that stick out to you?
No.
Yeah, there was one that I dug. It was called Chris Tales. I didn't play the whole demo because it seemed pretty long, but it had like a Paper Mario like combat system, which is actually pretty cool. It's just like a really cute style. It was just a cute game, but it was cool because they had like at a certain point you become like a time mage. I didn't get super into what that means, but like on the screen down the center in like a cone is like the present, and then on the left is the past, and on the right is the future, and you can kind of send the little toad to look around and find information in either timeline. To bring back to the present and use that information. So it was cool visually to see kind of like the world in 3 times running at the same time. Kind of gave me A little Dishonored 2 vibes in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the only one that stood out to me as well.
Yeah, I tried to like Destroyed All Humans, and that was fine. For
I
what
played
it
that.
was,
Yeah,
but-
I was. It was weird to see the game look as good as it did. I remembered playing like that part on PS2 back in the day.
Yeah, I never played that game, so I had no idea.
I liked it a lot. You know, as like a 13-year-old kid, that's basically like a fantasy game. You know, like it'd be able to get in the UFO. It was, you know, it was Hulk Ultimate Destruction, but like a different flavor. You know, instead of being Hulk, you were an alien dominating the world and stuff. It was really fun. It's a really fun game. I was honestly, when I played the demo, I was like, I could totally play through this game again. And like that's like a beat it in 2 days and then 100% it in 4 days type game. So, yeah, our bet is actually related to Destroy All Humans. I think that game is also probably problematic. Replaying through the intro, but it probably goes some places. But I don't know. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. What about you, Scott? Video games? Video games?
Not too much new. As I said, I was planning to do some Switch, but I completely forgot that the charger was broken.
Yeah.
And it is the charger, not the port on the Switch.
Oh, thank God. Dodged a bullet.
So other than that, it's just been more of the same. A little more Tarkov, a little more League. I've been slowly chipping away at Gravedigger still.
Oh, nice. How's your graveyard?
I don't know if I talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but I never found the witch.
Have you still not?
No, I did.
Okay, good.
It's just people. I was assuming that I had to just continue along some people's quest lines. To go ahead and do it. But apparently, no. You talk to the witch, and there you go. That's what you were missing the entire time.
Yeah, you just go talk to her. She was just chilling.
So, now I can actually progress again.
Yeah.
Because before it was painfully slow.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you have zombie workers yet?
Somewhat.
Okay.
I only have them on the wood.
Yeah, because there's like that big tree. I assume that's what you mean.
Yeah. I only have them on the big tree.
But there's also like a mine in like the upper left corner.
Yep.
That you can keep them on. That'll just there's that stone and marble and wood. Then you just have that, and you don't have to think about it anymore, which is nice.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm glad you're still playing it, chipping away at it. It's a game it's good to chip away at.
Other than that, that's about it.
Okay.
The only news is that League has committed a super atrocity.
Okay.
You see, they came out with a skin. It is a Teemo in a bee suit.
Oh God! I gotta see this. Teemo bee.
Do you know what? Before you Google this.
Oh God! It's too late.
What do you think it's named?
Oh, it's BMO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, this skin is like more than a year old.
Yeah, but I didn't know about it till now.
He looks so happy though.
Yes. But there's only one BMO that's allowed to exist.
Yeah. True. This is not the right BMO. This is not the BMO you were looking for.
Do you think you get taunt enough with him, he starts reading the B-movie script?
Oh my God. I really hope so.
I mean, I could just have that up in Notepad and paste it into every game.
But every time he says the word B, he rereads the B script. God. That's it. I feel like that's like an old meme at this point. That's like 2 years old or whatever. 3 years old. How about then, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'll talk about some of my games, and then we'll talk about the Xbox Games Showcase. Any thoughts we had on that? We'll make some bets, and we'll get on out of here. So everyone out there, chill for a moment, and we will be back in just a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's video games. I played some video games this week. So I did a thing. I went down like a weird rabbit hole. And it's one of those ones where I think I talked about this last week where you play it all, you do it all in a week, and then you go a little crazy at the end of it. But I needed like a distraction this week, so I was replaying through Control, as I talked about last week. I finished that, went through the DLC and all that again. Great. Loved it. Great game. Very excited for the next expansion. And then I was like, you know what? I should just play Alan Wake again. Because why not? I mean, that's the stuff I like in Control the most. Why not? I haven't played it in a while. Replayed through Alan Wake. Holds up better than I thought it would. And I don't know if some of it's like that Xbox One emulation, because there's no Xbox One X enhancements for Alan Wake or anything. It just is how it was. But like art style wise, like artistically and the design of the game and how it looks, I feel like actually really holds up. And I think they did some really cool stuff visually with that game to make it still look and feel great today, years and years later. And feel kind of like a timeless classic, at least to me. I have a special place in my heart for that game. But going back and seeing it's like really satisfying to do the shooting. It's satisfying to break the guards of your enemies and stuff. There's not a lot of different shit in that game. I think that's like going back to it. You're doing a lot of the same shit over and over again until the very end. They introduce like a new mechanic right toward the end. That's pretty cool. But yeah, there's not a lot of variety in it, but it's a cool game. I guess like we're ruined today. We're like modern AAA video games have to have 12 systems or 30 different mini games that are once only ever in them or things like that. Like that is like oversaturation of different concepts is such a thing in games today. And I get it. I think it's cool. Like when a Mario game, like every level you play is totally unique mechanic to that level. I think that's really cool, but it also not every game needs to be that for me. So something simple like Alan Wake that's just kind of focused, I really liked. So going back through that, I loved it. I actually played through both the DLCs. I had only ever played the first one. I don't know why. I'd bought both of them, but I had never played the second one. So when I finished it, I was like, oh shit, I've never seen this before. And then you could tell how deep in the hole I was because I immediately went and played Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which is $15 spin-off Xbox Live Arcade game that kind of continues the story, but doesn't really. I never played this at all. I hadn't touched it. So I played through all that for the first time. It's not long. It's like 5 hours long. And I actually got all the manuscript pages and stuff in it. The thing is, it still has all the good parts of Alan Wake in it. All the combat, all the stuff, but with more variety. There's more enemy types in it. A lot of them do a lot of different stuff. A lot of them suck. There's spiders in there. The spiders are not. They're gross. Very gross. But there's cool characters in it. There's like only really 3 or 4. But they do a lot with them that really surprised me. It's basically like gas station area and then a drive-through, like a drive-in area movie theater and like a lab, and you just go through those 3 environments 3 times each. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then there's like a time loop, and 1, 2, 3 again, and then another time loop, and then 1, 2, 3 again, which I thought would get shitty by the end, but they like speed it up as it goes on. Like things start, they play with logic in it's a really cool way. But yeah, it was fun. It kind of is like it ties itself up with a neat little button. Like they introduce Mr. Scratch, who actually shows up at the end of Alan Wake, and he totally just like shows up, and then they kind of like, oh yeah, that's Mr. Scratch, don't worry about him. And then he is like the whole centerpiece of this expansion, and you're not really sure what happens to him. It's assumed that he's beaten by the end of it, but I don't know, I have my doubts. And then I was like, this was really great. What if I played Quantum Break again? Which is a position you should never put yourself in. But I played through Quantum Break again, and I was like, you know what? I get it this time. I had a real come to Jesus moment with that game where it like genuinely worked for me. Where not only that, like I think I really saw what they were going for, and I liked it. And to be fair, when I played through it, I forgot, there's choices that you make at the end of each act, and that kind of changes how things play out and the ultimate fates of different characters. So like the Liam Burke, who's kind of like the main character of the TV show, as far as I know, didn't die this time when I played through, where he definitely did the first time. And things went differently, and I had a better understanding of it. And again, like, I played through Control before this to kind of like put that thought process, in my head of like how this works in the Remedy verse, like that they like to make. And it was cool having that and going into Quantum Break and just appreciating it. I do some takes after that game. Beth Wilder should have been the protagonist. And I feel like they obviously wanted her to be the protagonist. Probably by the end, I feel like that was a decision they made mid-development, so they couldn't go back on, like, I guess get rid of Sean Ashmore. We hired him for nothing. And I think they knew that because obviously that actress plays the protagonist in Control. She's great in that. She's super great. And some fucked up shit happens in that game. Like, it goes some interesting places. It's a shame. Now that I've played it again, I'm like, man, I really think a sequel to this would have been genuinely super cool. But that's the fucking story with all Remedy games. So I'm used to it by now at this point. But yeah, there's some Alan Wake stuff in that as well that's really good. So now I have the full Alan Wake timeline in my head before whatever the next Control expansion comes out, the Alan Wake experience, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I went through all of Remedy's modern catalog this last week, and I loved it. God, I'm like I love their games so much more now, especially seeing them back to back and knowing how their style and everything and what they've changed when it comes to Control. Like any game they put out, I will play. I will play the stupid Crossfire X campaign, single player campaign. I'll give it a shot. That they've just earned. They make games so specifically how I like. The only other real thing I played this week was more Paper Mario. Want to talk about Paper Mario because some fucked up shit happens in that game. And I don't know if you've seen anybody talking about some shit that goes down in that game. But some shit goes down in that game. And like I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it is, totally. But I think it's just the context of it appearing in a Mario game at all, and how they do it, and then the degree to which they like continue to move on after it. I'm gonna spoil something for people out there because I don't think any of you guys are gonna fucking play this game, Scott. Unless you want to play it, I won't spoil it if.
I do. I am very interested in playing it.
Okay.
The only thing that was holding me back is like I was planning on playing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I completely forgot that I didn't have a charger.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I won't spoil it then. But a thing happened, and again, like I said, in the context of all video games, not a big deal. It happens in a lot of video games, but in this game, it is so like dramatic and like absurd. It like really surprised me and upset me. I was very upset afterwards. Not in like a bad way. Again, it's not like a crime against this game. It's not a fault by any means. It was just so unexpected. And I was like, I can't believe they went this far in a Mario game. This is
how moving away from this.
Sure.
How is the game holding up a week out?
I like it more the more I play it, which is good, right? Like, it's what we said last week. Like the boss fights are actually really cool, and some cool stuff happens in them. There are moments where like it is essentially making you do combat, but you're not in like the turn-based combat that is kind of subpar. So you're just kind of like running around the world and hitting enemies and defending yourself. So there's more of that later on in the game that I didn't necessarily expect, and that stuff's really fun. Like there was actually a whole boss fight that is just you kind of fighting an enemy in the world as opposed to in combat.
In the spin screen.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll call it. So
which is good. It was really fun.
Another question is, does this harken back to the problem of there being no reason to fight?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like there are minor reasons to fight. Like, so you need this confetti, which you throw on like parts of the world to like refill in the world. You get confetti, like a lot of it from beating enemies. And you need coins to do a lot of stuff, which you get coins for beating enemies, and you get a lot of coins. Like you get 800 to 2,000 coins per fight. You know, you generally have 20.
Whereas in the world, you're probably going to get 20.
No, I mean in the world you're gonna get like 10,000. Like you're gonna have so much fucking coins in this game. Like it's not a huge thing, but like if you were low on money, that's an instance where you would have to go fight some enemies. Not a huge deal. So yeah, like there's.
But in general, does the game kind of reward you for avoiding a fight or something like that?
It's just indifferent to the whole concept, right? There's no reason to fight. You get those things, those very simple things. Sometimes you'll get items as well for beating a fight. Most of the combat, because all in all, there's not a lot of it. Most of the combat that you have to engage in is just stuff that happens, like mandatory. Like you go into a room and a toad's getting attacked, and then it jumps into a scene where now you're fighting. Like most of the combat, and there's very little in like you're walking around the world and have to fight dudes.
Because it's designed to funnel you into them.
Pretty much.
So so that's the good news.
Yeah,
that's a balance that I didn't think of.
Yeah, it is more the adventure and running around stuff than it is combat, which is good because the combat's just super not interesting, except for the boss fights. The boss fights are pretty good.
Right, because that is something that I didn't think about. Because in other RPGs they shoehole you into having to fighting certain enemies. When they're visible on the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you can skip a couple of them. You effectively have to fight half.
And there's a point like once
I know that the original Paper Mario's did that. I know that. I'm pretty sure that the other two Mario games did that as well.
Yeah.
And was it Sticker Star and Color Splash that kind of had those enemy funnels?
Sticker Star and Color Splash had like the avoid combat at all basically at all costs. It was more so.
No, by map design, did they funnel enemies into you?
A little bit, but it was more like the map design of that game was all like segmented in a really weird way. Because remember, it had like a world map where you went to 1-1, 1-2, and so. It was just like there was just less of everything in those games, I think. And this game doesn't.
I think this will be one that I can get into.
Yeah, I like as I'm getting into it myself. You know, it is one of those things of it's good and it's fun and I really like it and the writing is stellar, but I know it could be great. Even if you like copy pasted the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door combat into this game, it would be a better game, and that's a bummer. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make the game.
That's the thing. It's the Super Mario series harkens off the back of both the that and the Mario and Luigi saga harkens off the back of the Mario
RPG, yeah.
Battle system, which is, as far as turn-based battles go, it's probably number one.
Yeah, it's up there, and it's simple and it's great. And it's just like the version that has been dumbed down into this game just feels like a little soulless. Like one thing I pointed out to Mike, because I was messaging him about the game when I got a little bit further in it, is like a thing that I always liked about Paper Mario is like you always know how much damage you're gonna do, and you're strategically thinking about that, right? Like when you get a hammer, the upgraded hammer, and you go from 2 to 4 damage for your hammer hits, it's a big deal, and it changes how you play the game. In this, like I legitimately don't know how much damage I'm ever going to do at any point, and it seems different every fucking match, and it's like it's a little thing, but in this franchise, it was such a pivotal thing. Like I did 15 damage to each of these enemies with attacks, but the next match I did 19 or whatever. I don't know if it's because I had better timing or this or that. It's a bummer. It's a thing I think about, and I wish I could like know and invest. Like I don't know how much health any of the enemies have. I don't know how much damage I'm going to do. I don't know what is really going to be the most effective. And
the worst part of it all is it probably doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it really just doesn't. Most enemies will go down with basic hits regardless, so it doesn't matter. None of it matters. But Yeah,
That's sad to see.
it's sad, but I feel like this is such a step in the right direction because you get companions that are with you temporarily, like they're not there for the whole game, but they'll come and go out of your party as it goes around. So when you're like running around the world with a companion and doing the puzzle stuff and you're in the Paper Mario world figuring out stuff and getting upgrades and whatnot, it feels like Paper Mario. And then combat starts and you're like, fuck, oh, they were so close. Like they were so close. But it gives me hope that maybe next time they'll do it. I know a lot of people are saying, well, they have no incentive to, or they have no reaction to. Like, this game is doing well, and people are receptive to it, and everyone has the same criticism. So I'm hoping that they'll at least give it a shot.
Right. Because, I mean, like, for me, what I always thought would have been effectively the best is if they combined the more Paper Mario-esque writing with the Mario and Luigi suck combat style.
Sure, yeah.
But instead, add a couple extra people. Make it a bit more turn based. Instead of the full back and forth where Luigi is A and Mario is B. Keep those, like, remove that element to add more people in.
Yeah, dude, you should really play Bug Fables. Because, like, the coolest thing about that game is it feels like Paper Mario, but with a party system. And the way they do the party system, because there's 3 characters instead of 2. It's not a lot, but they do some really cool stuff with it. I know I've suggested it before, but just a reminder.
Yeah, I gotta play Bug Fables.
Yeah, maybe Paper Mario first, because it definitely feels a little bit more polished and nice. But just as a reminder, put that on your radar. But yeah, I finished like there's no chapter. Also, there's no chapters in this game, which is a bummer. And to be fair, like the levels kind of flow more organically from one to the next. So like when you end chapter or the first objective, which is like you're destroying these 6 streamers. So when you destroy the first streamer, like that area, there's a thing over here that leads right into the second streamer. And then at the end of that, you go down a river and it like continues on. Like it feels like a nice linear path. So there's less downtime between the chapters. But I liked going back to like Rogueport and Thousand Year Door and like doing some puzzles back in the hometown and then finding a new exit and going that way. This is way more, you just kind of keep going and zigzagging through the world. But not in a bad way. It's still really fun. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of different stuff in the game. So luckily they don't just resort to doing the kind of same stuff over and over again. And boy, there is some writing. Like there's a scene with Birdo that is like a West Side Story reference that is like fucking so good. And I was laughing so hard through the whole thing. And the music is going, and like these Koopa Troopers walk up and they're like snapping like West Side Story characters. I was like, this is so, I can't, this is too my shit. So yeah, it is still worth playing, I think. So if anyone's on the fence, like, yeah, it's worth checking out.
We gotta play Color Splash.
Yeah, I feel like I feel exactly about this how people felt about, like, how Gerard feels about Color Splash. But the thing is, like, I don't know if I could play another one of these games. Like a slightly disappointing Paper Mario game. It just bums me out. Or like, and Color Splash's combat is way worse in my opinion. So the puzzles are hard for me because I'm stupid. So but I'm figuring that out. I'm getting better at them. So that's video games, I think. Let's talk a little bit about news. Some news happened. The Xbox Games Showcase was this past Thursday. Us IP folks, Scott White, Mike Burgess, and I all watched along. Had a good time. Did any of you guys catch this? I know, Nabishin, you watched it. Tony, did you see it? Scott, you see it?
It happened somewhere between Friday and Saturday.
It happened Thursday.
No, I wouldn't have got it.
Sure. Tony, did you see it?
No.
Okay. What do you think, Nabishin? So you told me a little bit of your thoughts while you were watching it, but I didn't hear your kind of final thoughts on it.
I mean, after sleeping on it and thinking about it after a while, and hearing like a few different opinions from people who like know a lot better about like Xbox stuff than I obviously do. I think generally like I like what they presented and the way they presented it was actually really good. Um, I was engaged the entire time as far as like what they were showing and like uh, I thought the show as a show is some of the best stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think they really demonstrated the benefits of being on Xbox other than Game Pass. Like the presentation was basically more of like this is a Game Pass showcase more than this like a Series X showcase.
Sure.
I guess you would say. And like because like obviously like the fact that like you can get all these games for this to be on the Game Pass service is an insane thing. And I don't think they get enough credit for that. Just the fact that like everything they show, like, hey, you can play this on Game Pass, $15 a month if you want to do that, and it's like that's so much value that you're getting that like it's a really cool thing as far as that. I think the problem is just like I guess what they showed didn't really show next gen other than like like the medium. The medium looks amazing. I feel it's showing like something as far as like this is something you can't do on a PS4 or Xbox One type of game. But like everything else seems like something you can pretty much play on an OG Xbox One. Just like maybe the resolution is low or something like that. I guess basically what I'm saying is it's like it doesn't really show like the next step as far as like an evolution of gaming, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
It just shows like pretty much what we've been seeing for like the last few years, and maybe looking better.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I liked it a lot. I came away very positive. I came away honestly feeling very similarly to how I felt about the PlayStation Showcase, which was just like, in the perspective of all these games, or most of these games, speak to me and look good to me, and I would like to play most of them. I think, honestly, Nabishin, you really blew my mind when you were like, I reframed everything in my head of like, oh yeah, everything's going to be on Game Pass. But what does that mean? Every game that I saw, I'll be able to try for literally, to me, $0 additional dollars of entry.
Yeah.
For free. I could play Halo Infinite for free. To me, because I'm invested in that ecosystem, and I'm going to keep paying for Game Pass, and I'm going to keep giving it a shot as long as like I'm getting the value out of it. And if you think about like in the PlayStation Showcase, like let's take out Horizon and Ratchet and Clank, maybe not Ratchet and Clank, but we'll get to the point eventually, and Miles Morales, right? And like if you bought those 3 games, you could also, for that same cost, $180, get a year of Game Pass and get all of the games in the Xbox Showcase, right? In theory, right? Miles and Ratchet and Clank are probably gonna be $40 or $50 games, maybe, we'll see. But when I started framing it like that, of like a value proposition,
the value is unmatched. It's insane.
It is insane, and it's things like, it is a lot of variety, and I liked that, especially even if you look at Game Pass now, right? You have everything from Life is Strange to the Master Chief Collection to Alan Wake, like all these really great stuff like that you can just play on any system. So I do like, I've seen a lot of that argument of they're not trying to sell the Series X, they're trying to sell Game Pass, the Xbox platform, and then you could buy the Xbox, the One X or the Series X or a PC, whatever level of entry you would like to get into this, from the cheapest to the highest. And you're set for $10 a month, or if you choose one or the other, and then $15 a month if you have both. And it's just crazy. Like Alana Pierce put out a really great video of like Game Pass is like insanely pro-consumer and pro-value, and it's a great deal, and it's probably not gonna last forever. Like it might not last forever type thing. That's my takeaway, at least. And just like framing it in my head of like all of those games I'll be able to try for nothing. You know, like I don't even have to get a Series X. I could play all of them on my Xbox One X if I wanted to. And I, you know, like I re-upped my Game Pass for a year a month ago, so I'm like set for half of these games coming out, and that's really cool. But the thing that I felt coming out of it was I would have been more interested. This felt very like Sony 2018 for me, of like, or not 2018, but like 2016, of like, this isn't coming out anytime soon. This isn't coming out anytime soon. Not even showing gameplay for half of these things that I'm excited about, so I don't know when any of them are coming. Like, it was more of like this seems like a really early, and I get it, like, you know, it's the Bethesda Elder Scrolls 6 Starfield, you know, show the big things to let people know they're coming. But like, I don't fucking know when Fable's coming out. I don't know when. We don't even know when Forza Motorsport, the platform or whatever they're trying to make it into, is coming out. You know, and that was a weird feeling. Like, I texted you, Nabashin, saying like, I don't think you could get away with a CG trailer for State of Decay 3. You know, like,
right.
I don't think anyone, even State of Decay 2 fans, give a shit enough to be excited about State of Decay 3 without like some substantial visual promise of like, we understand that these games have been janky, and now we're with Microsoft, and now these are going to be something bigger and better and more immersive.
They could State of Decay 2's like last announcement trailer when I was announced like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was an in-game thing, and that was like pretty much saying, oh, okay, so you have a good expectation of what it looks like, and like you know the tone was gonna set, and like you just like, you know, knowing that the game got announced, you know, you're kind of setting your expectation down. Okay, so like it looks that way, so like pretty much it's gonna be like below 30 at that, and I'm the person who's like excited for that has that expectation and know what to expect for that game. And with this, it's just like you know, it's the acknowledgement that like which is cool, but like I don't think anyone's too surprised that like State of Decay 3 is an actual thing. It's more of like you don't want to like misrepresent the game.
Yeah. I don't know. But Nabashi, I don't know if you were still talking. You cut out for us.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure. The only one that I thought could get away with that was Avowed, because like you don't need to give me much more than like, hey, Obsidian's making their take on Skyrim, right? Like that is enough of a concept to sell me, and I trust Obsidian enough to be like, okay, yeah, like Pillars of Eternity universe, first person RPG, he's doing fucking weird hand signs for the magic. I'm in. You got me. But like Fable is a thing that's been rumored for a while. Playground's making a new studio, English studio, and we still got a very small brush with what that game might be. And I just wanted more, you know, from Fable and State of Decay and a couple other things. But, you know, all in all, a lot of cool games that I was really excited about. So, and a lot of surprises. Like there was a great Destiny 2 trailer. Mike and I actually did a trailer breakdown of it, talking about the new powers. But yeah, it had some problems, but I was like, man, I'm excited for almost all these games, and I thought it was a good showing. It was a good way to show all that, and it just made me feel even better about Game Pass. So in that regard,
is it weird that we're almost in August and Call of Duty has yet to even announce?
I was going to bring this up. Crazy. It makes so much sense though with everything we heard like this time last year about like we got to bring Treyarch in to finish this game because Sledgehammer and Raven as a combined unit are not working together the way that they're supposed to, which makes me think they're just going to cancel this game, which would be crazy. But also, there's no better year to take a year off Call of Duty than this year when you've got Warzone doing super, super well for them. And that's in like season 4. And everything that happened with that, and then also the pandemic and all that.
I don't understand seasons. Like I think they they bastardized that term.
What is it? Is there something I can do for this, or like because I feel like it makes kind of sense.
I mean, I understand seasons, but like I'm just like timing of seasons. Like you would think seasons would be when it's actually fall to like
that would be smart.
Winter, I would think that would be a season, but like
it's just like every game has its own.
Is a season. Like Fortnite Chapter 2 is like on like its 10th season now. I'm exaggerating, but it's something high though.
Every game has its own seasonal structure of like, here's the season start date and how long our seasons are. And I feel like there's no like calendar for that shit. You know what I mean? Like there should be somebody, maybe you gotta take this off air because this is about a patentable idea right here. You know, Rami Ismail makes that great PR like fact sheet for every fucking developer to use. Somebody should just make a universal video game seasonal calendar. It's like, here's when the new Call of Duty season starts. Here's when the new Fortnite season starts. Here's how long it lasts, you know? You're onto something here, Nabashin.
This is probably mostly me, though, because, like, fighting game seasons are usually a year. So, like, a new season is, like, basically a yearly thing. So, like, that's
because that's like the character releases, right? That's all types of
like
content.
Even like Overwatch's season back in the day, that made sense to me because that wasn't a year thing. I think that was actual seasonal.
They had
thing,
3-month seasons, yeah. So but now they're 2-month season, and they used to have 3-month season with downtime. Now they're 2-month season with no downtime. So when one season ends, it starts up the next season the next day. But the thing is, they still implement huge changes over seasons. So yeah. A lot of weird stuff. On the playtest servers for Overwatch, you can play the next season changes on PC beforehand. But Nintendo also had a mini third parties direct, but like nothing happened there. So I don't know. Was No More Heroes in that? No, it wasn't.
No,
that showed up in another
Shin Megami
thing. Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei 5 finally. Ben Moore vindicated wherever he is. But it was cool. Also, Shin Megami Tensei 3 being remade for Switch is cool.
Are we done with talk about Xbox, by the way?
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Xbox?
Well, no, not necessarily, but like there's some communication things I think they need to work out on a little bit with that. Like for instance, like in the pre-show they announced Dragon Quest XI's is coming to Game Pass, but I believe that's only the Xbox version of Game Pass because you can like preload that on your Xbox One, which I did. But I can't do that for my PC version of Game Pass. So it's not on that. But tell me why it is. So like I get down that I get down both systems. So like just a little clarity as far as that.
There's a different list. I don't know if you've looked at, like, they'll put out a GIF on the Xbox Game Pass Twitter of like, here's the games coming to Xbox Game Pass, here's the games coming to PC Game Pass, and like rotate through them, and then here's the games coming to both. So that they have they have it down somewhere. But yeah, you're right. Maybe they should make those lists a little bit more apparent.
And thinking on that, like, like. Because I'm wondering, like, is getting a Series X worth it? Oh, I guess not. Because like for the PC sake, like if you have a PC, like for me in particular, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, after this, like I really felt for you the better option would just be like get a new graphics card on the Xbox end, and then you're set, right? And then get a PS5.
Yeah. I guess that's the solution because like
that's what Xbox wants you to do. Like it is, you know,
what they're trying to do is just get you in an ecosystem and not leave, or get you to a point where you can't leave. And like I'm done with it. I mean, I'm good with. I'm not done with it. I'm in it, and I don't plan on leaving until it's fine. Like it is more of just like I think that's what I'm just pretty much gonna do is just like stick that way because like I'll have my backwards compatibility with my Xbox One X, which I'll be happy with, and I can play all the new games that Xbox comes out with on my PC. So that'll be pretty where I should be at.
I forgot about the backwards compatibility thing. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Honestly, the thing I'm looking forward to the most, because depending on launch lineups, like I'm probably gonna get a Series X this year. I've decided is I'm just gonna replay a bunch of games on Series X at 60 FPS. Like, honest to God, like that's all I'm gonna do. Which is probably what you would have done with your PC when you set it up. So like, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna replay Control later this year with ray tracing, like on Xbox. I think like that's I'll just do that, assuming like those things are ready for day one or whatnot, which I hope some of them will be.
You didn't really you haven't really like done the dumb thing I did basically, but like you like a bunch of like Xbox 360 games on your Xbox.
Oh, I did. I got way too many.
Okay.
I bought like 4 Assassin's Creed games for no reason. Like I'm never gonna play Assassin's Creed Brotherhood again, but I bought it. Here we are.
Right.
I bought Assassin's Creed 3 and then immediately bought the season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which got me Assassin's Creed 3 remastered, and I was like, well, fuck me. So which has better controls and stuff. So yeah, I definitely. I haven't, and I was buying all those Call of Duty games for Call of Duty in Review. Also, like I own 5 of those on 360 digitally, which honestly I don't regret because I can load those up and see my game time from OG back in the day, which is cool. So yeah, and I'm probably gonna do a lot more of that. So,
because I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 13 again.
I bought all 3 of them, so yeah, I already did that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about playing that game again, and I have it on my I have it on my Xbox. But like I just realized like literally today or no yesterday because I saw Sonic Fox streaming that game. Like, oh, it's on PC. I didn't even realize. I never knew that game came out on PC.
Yep. That was I feel like that was relatively recently that happened.
I can't even remember.
But yeah. And like that's the thing. That's also a cool thing I was thinking about. Like, hey, if Tony Scott and I wanted to play Halo Infinite, if we wanted to like play 2v2 Slayer or whatever, like we could just do that. For you guys, it's $10. Like you just buy Game Pass for a month, and then we play a little bit, and then we just never play again or whatever.
Yeah, they shown us that like years ago, like when Tony was like got into Sea of Thieves for a while. I was like, hey, let's just do that. I got $10, so we'll just do that, and it'll be fine. Man, and it's just like
the fact that like I could always be on a different platform at this point. It's just going to be with the first Xbox first party games. It's going to be fully synced across the board. So I just don't have to think about it. And it is just it's great for all the hosts of this show except for me because you guys all play on PC at this point. And it makes it so approachable as well. So not only do you get the benefits of like, oh, well, if I want to play an Xbox game, I could just get Game Pass for a month, try it out, maybe try a few other things. But then on top of that, you will get access to a whole other library with that is maybe a couple of games that you want to check out or a thing that you just want to try. Like the amount of times I've been like going through the Game Pass catalog and be like, I just want to try this. Like that's what happened with Void Busters last week. I was like, I heard good things about this. Alex Van Aken really liked it. I'll download it and try it and played it. And I don't know if I'll ever play it again, but I got like 4 solid hours out of it, and that was enough. It was great. So yeah, I think that just like they're on another level. If you really think about it, like I think they're in a zone that PlayStation isn't even close to being in. And it's maybe not as lucrative and maybe not as that's the thing. Like it's just the PlayStation fans like they've gotten so because it's so big to a similar sense like Nintendo fans. Like I feel like they've just gotten super shitty. So like anytime I can like get out of that ecosystem where like the diehards are like telling you over everything that these games are the best when I'm sitting over here like I feel like these games are all the same. And like the other side is like literally the one thing that they are standing on is like look at the variety of types of things that you could just get into for fucking nothing. Is just like is exactly my argument against the quote unquote Sony ponies or whatever, and I feel like there's just not been a good enough response yet. And I'm not like it's not about who's better, what side wins or whatever. It's just like when that is the conversation, and I'm like getting more of way different shit, a little bit of Undertale, a little bit of this, a little bit of indie, a little bit of AAA over here, and like then 5 out of 7 AAA games on the other side of the exact same fucking thing, in my opinion. I am going to lead the other way with the variety and the diversity and all that. What are you gonna say?
Hasn't that been my argument? Like,
I think so for
a long time.
For a long time, and I think what
because
it is.
It's
go ahead.
You pick one between Xbox 360 and the PlayStation, or the Xbox and the PlayStation, because let's be honest, they're kind of the fucking same.
Yeah.
you pick up a Nintendo system because they're not the same. They're very much so different.
Yeah.
And then any small holes that I might not cover between the system I'm missing will be covered on the PC.
Yeah.
But then even now, it's kind of been reduced to the PC covers the Xbox and the PlayStation setup. Not exactly the same because the exclusives, but close enough.
Yeah.
And then there's Nintendo.
And there's Nintendo doing their shit.
That is also slowly fading away, i.e., bug fables.
Yeah, but like, what I think, like looking at it now, I feel like Xbox injected like a lot of that PC space energy into their console, and that is why they have succeeded.
Oh yeah, they absolutely did,
and it's cool.
It's very cool. It's just that if you have a PC,
you're good.
It doesn't add all that much extra for you
when
you pick up the console.
It's funny. It's really funny because like just like what we're even talking about. It's like it's kind of like with the PlayStation side, and not really speaking for myself, but like speaking for like how or what seems like what people feel is like you get games that are game of the year caliber, quote unquote, and like games that'll I guess would change your life if you play them or whatever. Or you're just so good, like you know, like you just don't know what you you just don't know what you're missing, man. Type of thing. And then like you get like to like with the Xbox side, and it's just like it's a service that gives you like unlimited options, but like it's hard to find like the gems in it. But like there are certain gems in it, you just have to look for it, type of thing.
Yeah.
If you put the work into it, you'll find something, and like you'll fucking love it. You'll find Cuphead, you'll find Ori and the Will of the Wisps, you'll find maybe even Gears 5, something that like really speaks to you for like a relatively cheap price. And like obviously Nintendo, their caliber of like different video games that like they put out is like pretty much if they talk about it, that's something you need to pay attention to, basically. If you see Nintendo themselves like bringing it up, it's like, oh yeah, I'll pay attention to it, and like I might generally like it.
Yeah.
And PC says PC, so it's an interesting like look out of like of where we're at, I guess.
All the different directions everyone's going in too. Yeah, it's cool. Like it for me, it was the thing of like, okay, this feels different. This is just a different conversation in a similar way to like how Nintendo has felt versus PlayStation, Xbox for a long time. Like when you texted me saying like it is kind of crazy thinking all these games are gonna be on Game Pass, and or like I'm just gonna get all these games. It really like I was thinking about like, man, they're having a whole other kind of conversation, like a whole other thing.
Yeah, and maybe that's just our future now. Like how people just like kind of discount Nintendo for the general conversation as far as like saying like, oh, it's really these two competing, not Nintendo, stuff like that. But like Nintendo's still doing,
they're destroying
probably the
it.
best right
yeah,
now.
They're killing it. They can't even keep their consoles on shelves because how well they're selling right now.
Because like in the future, honestly, like what are we even debating about?
Yeah,
because like with the Xbox, if something's on Game Pass, like there's no discussion about it. It doesn't matter how much Halo sells because people are going to play it because it's free.
Yeah.
Period. They win. It's like I was saying with Sea of Thieves. Like it doesn't matter if that game came out shitty, sort of, kinda, because like it eventually will improve, and like people are still gonna keep playing it because it's free. So who cares?
Yeah.
So, I mean that's not an excuse to like put out a buggy game, but like at the same time, it's like they can put out a buggy game and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll iterate itself. You know, it'll just evolve naturally over time.
Yeah.
But so it makes sense that Xbox is like, here's Halo Infinite. You know, here's Forza Motorsport, you know, here's Everwild, here's Fable. Like, here are platforms that we will evolve over time that you will have access to as long as you have an Xbox, because if you have an Xbox, if you don't have Game Pass, you're fucking doing it wrong. So, yeah. But it's just so crazy to think, like, Game Pass didn't exist and wasn't even a concept 7 years ago when that console came out. And now it's all different. it's just wild.
Like, we can't even, like I say this, but like people aren't going to believe it. But the console war dumb shit is dead because like there's nothing to talk about anymore.
Yeah.
We can't even compare these things anymore.
Yeah,
like
they're just too different.
You can't. You literally can't.
Yeah, just buy a PC. That's what the answer is. Always what it has always been. You know.
It took me 33 years, but I found out. That's where I should have been this entire time.
Sorry, you got it. We got you there. It only took Scott and Tony a year for just a few years, and eventually, it happened. That's it. Real quick, a little bit of outro here before we get to our last segment. You can be part of the show in a variety of ways. Tweet your questions at IrrationalPod. Leave us a voicemail 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply. Or email us, mailsack at irrationalpassions.com is the email address. You can also follow everything Irrational Passions at IrrationalPod on Twitter. You can follow Nabishin and me on Twitter. I am AlFighter27. Nabishin is at NABESHIN186. Check out all of our YouTube and Twitch stuff. It's all of our video stuff. Just look for Irrational Passions on either. Rate and review us wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Play, whatever you prefer. And for everything else, irrationalpassions.com. That's the place to be. We've reached the end of the show, gentlemen, which means it's time for bets. This week's bet. It's a little bit of a walk. I think I was too wordy on this one, but, it's fine. I think it relatively makes sense. What will the PlayStation 4 trophy achievement percentage be for the Destroy All Humans remake trophy, Rockwell Death Knell, which is a great trophy name? You get this trophy for completing the second area, the second chapter, second level. What will the achievement rate be? So I think most common trophies, it's like 75% or whatever. It could be 80%. I don't know how many people will have finished the second area. That's the bet. Tony. I always throw it to Tony first because I assume he's just like got to lean over to a keyboard to hit that press the talk button. All right, Scott. What percent will have completed the second area?
0%. What are you talking about?
I gotta start going to Tony before you, so you can't fucking scoop that bet from him. I tried, to be fair.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me do another bet before. Give me some time by reading it out again.
Okay. What will the PS4 achievement percentage rate for the Destroy All Humans remake trophy, Rockwell Death Knell, be, which you get for completing the second chapter?
Trophy percentages are only from people who bought the game, correct?
Yes. Only people who've played the game.
Okay, 80%.
80%. Cool. I said 73%.
I'm thinking about 20% of the people who buy it will bounce off.
Yeah, probably. First level, be like, I bought this, but I spend my money on everything. Nabishin?
You said 73. I was going to go 72.
All right. Price is right. I like it. All right, Tony? Is Tony okay? Has anyone checked on Tony?
Okay, so he now has the absentee bet, whereas if this game does not come out, that is the only way that he can. That is how he wins.
The absentee ballot. I'll put absentee right here, and then we'll loop back around. Unless Tony can get his microphone fixed before the end of the show. Last week's bet. This is a good one. This ended up being a really good one. How many seconds will the Master Chief, Spartan 117, or John 117 if you prefer, stand still during the Halo Infinite presentation? Good. I thought it was a great presentation. I know a lot of people hate how it looked or whatever. Chill, everyone. But it was fun. This was actually a fun bet to figure out. I said 111 seconds. Nabishin said 7 seconds. Scott said 3 seconds. Tony said 0 seconds. Mike Burgess said 1 minute and 17 seconds, so 77 seconds. So this one was fun just because it opened with a cutscene. I didn't include like the weird CG video that came before, but technically Master Chief wasn't in that, just his armor was. So it doesn't count. This was good because it starts with a cutscene, so I included everything with the cutscene, obviously, because it went from a demo start screen to that. It picked up right where the last demo or video had left off. So it was him and the guy, the Space Marine guy, crashing into the Halo. I liked it because it was just a lot of the one character talking at him a lot, and he kept like stopping him and making him stand still and talk to him. So I was like, and counting again, and then stop counting, and then so it would transition the camera. So anytime he was off screen, I didn't count any of that time. But if he was on screen in some way and definitely standing still, if he was moving his head, I didn't count that shit. But there was a lot. It was a pretty long cutscene that started up, and then a couple very, very brief moments throughout the demo that he stood still. The total I came to was 50 seconds, which in a 9-ish minute demo, not that much. Most of it was the cutscene. I think like 37, 40 seconds of it was the cutscene. So, which means Mike got it, which I think, no, it's not our first guest win. But
No, definitely not.
he had 77 seconds, so he was closest. So that is a point for
All
Tony.
I'm saying is he fucked up.
Yeah, we all fucked up. He should have just been sprinting nonstop, Scott. I was with you. Just it starts and he's full sprint.
Well, here's the thing. It's like for those 53 seconds of him standing still,
50.
I'm willing to bet they could have made it more interesting by just moving along.
Yeah, to be fair, the camera was moving for a lot of it. It was just him that was just kind of standing there. But yeah, it was a long cutscene it opened with. That brings Tony's total to 7. Put him still in second place. Scott has 4. Nabishan has 8. I still have 3. I'm definitely going to lose at this rate. But that is it. Tony, are you back? Can we hear you again? No.
That's gonna be a no.
Hey, wow. Maybe he had to like get up and walk away for something. We should just spend the rest of the podcast speculating on where Tony went. Who's going to read the titles, you guys? I'm freaking out.
There's no titles. So
That's true. Fair enough. We'll come up with a bunch. That's the podcast, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. If you're watching live on YouTube, thanks for listening. If you're listening on the podcast service, apologies. The last week's podcast was still having trouble getting up on podcast services. I was going to edit the show. Some stuff happened, but it will be up soon. I promise. But thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Scott, Tony, and Nabishan for joining me. As always, I love you boys. Big hugs all the way around. Thanks, everyone, for hanging in there. We love you all. Be safe. Be kind to one another. And stay healthy. Stay safe out there. But until next week when we talk about more video games and possibly QuarantineCast 16. Who knows? Maybe we'll be out by then. We won't. I've been Alex O'Neill, your host this evening. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week. No one will ever come and say it at this point. No one shows up. No one rolls in. Like tumbleweed. Titles. There's only one title here.
By default, I guess it wins.
It's Scott as Rambo. So yeah, I guess it does win. That is the title. There's no other title.
Again, I'm bringing this up again because how stupid our show is. But like it's something we said in the pre-show. It's not in the show in our actual show.
Actual podcast.
No, so like I don't even know we were recording before then. So we have this dumb title.
No, that was in the bonus content.
Okay.
Because that was we're talking about movies. So what was the last movie you saw? Which I the bonus content started with me saying, "How did you feel about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie?" Which, to be fair, man, what a trip we've been on in this podcast. The last 2 hours, we've gone on a fucking journey. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. Nabishan, you want to say the title? And Scott, do you want to say the episode number?
Sure.
It's 475, Scott.
Thank you. This is the Rational Passions Podcast, episode 475.
Scott as Rambo.
Where's Tony? Where did Tony go? Is Tony okay? We'll never know his bet now. We're going to end this podcast, and Tony's going to be like, where the fuck did you guys go? That's it. That's the show. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, for watching. We love you all. Good night. Goodbye.